Hello everybody and welcome to That JRPG Show. Today I have a very special guest with me, somebody you probably don't know, but you probably listened to. This is the Legendary Zoltan. He is the guy who actually composed that song that you've been seeing a lot of times in my videos. And well, he's the guy. He did it all by himself. That awesome metal song, 22-second song. This is the guy. How you doing, buddy?
Thank you very much. I'm doing great. Thanks for letting me be on like the first guest on your show. Thank you.
Oh, you had to be, man. That song is just legendary. I was just telling you the other day that at some point I started using different intros from different artists because I wanted to keep variety. Like I wanted your song for certain videos, this other song for certain other types of videos and so on. And then people started bitching about it. Like, oh, I like this new song, but I missed the old intro. I want the Zoltan intro back over and over again. I was like, okay, people love you, guy. People love your song.
Thanks. Yeah, I was glad that you were able to use it that much and like it that much because every time I make a song, and that song is also the case, it's not professionally mixed or mastered. It just sounds okay to me, and then I put it out and like, anytime somebody who knows what they're talking about comes along, they say, dude, it needs more bass and you need this and you need that. Like, okay, sorry.
That's a bunch of horseshit, man. You are a professional, in my opinion. You're a very talented musician. I could never do that. I was a musician, as you probably already know, but I couldn't do that in a million years, man. What you did, play the guitar that way, the drums, I imagine it was a loop.
Yeah, I wrote it in a program, and then, the drums and the bass also are samples that I use a program to make.
But the guitar is real, right?
The actual guitar. I'm sorry?
The guitar is real, right?
The guitar I actually played, that's right.
That's awesome, man. I couldn't do that in a million years. Oh my God. Well, let me say thank you once again for that song. This was back in 2018 when I first used it. I think it was in a video called Top 10 Guilty Pleasure Games. It was a mixture of a video. I included games that weren't RPGs. Maybe I think I need to do another video on that, but exclusively on JRPGs. But anyway, that was the first time I used your song, and then the second time I used your song was a bigger video called What the Hell Happened to Lunar, the Lunar series. And that's when people started noticing, and hey, I like this new intro, who's this Legendary Zoltan guy? And then they went to your channel and so on. But they didn't subscribe, did they? And you have two channels. You have a channel called The Legendary Zoltan where you upload your music and
that's right.
Songs inspired by several different RPGs. I was a big fan of the one for Valkyrie Profile. I'm a big Valkyrie Profile fan, and every time you uploaded a song based on that game, it blew me away. And then you have another channel called Turn-Based Memories. Can you tell us a little bit more about that one?
Yeah, Turn-Based Memories is a channel I started with another guy whom I met on the internet named Mel.
Yeah.
And, we just both like JRPGs, and we both kind of wanted to start a podcast together. And so we did. And the premise of that podcast, and it really is a podcast, I throw some gameplay up for the videos, but it's not synchronized to what we're talking about or anything, just a visual aid and nothing else, really. And the premise of that podcast is that one person has been the fan of a game for a long, long time, and the other person plays it for the first time, and then they talk about it to see if the old school fan is being blinded by nostalgia or not. So pretty soon, it's not a JRPG, but pretty soon I'm going to have to upload the Zelda Ocarina of Time episode where I just played it for the first time, and Mel was a fan of it since forever. And I'm going to tell him what I thought about playing that game in 2020-21. Yeah.
Awesome. So, okay, guys, links to Zoltan's channels will be in the description. Please subscribe. He makes very funny content and very interesting and unique content. I've seen those videos about how to properly pronounce certain names. Those videos were very interesting, especially because you live in Japan. But we'll get to that later. Later. Zoltan, I'm going to ask these questions to every single one of my guests from now on. What was the very first RPG you ever played?
The first one I played, I believe, was the Legend of Zelda 2.
Okay.
Because that one is actually an RPG. And back then I was a kid, and I did have the Nintendo Power magazine. And thanks to that, I was actually able to eventually finish it. But man, when you're a little kid and games were harder back then. It took forever.
Yeah, I gave up. I did play that game a long time ago with my brother and sister. We never got past the stupid ass tower. I forgot the name. It's oh my god, it's such a hard game, such a big fucking grind fest. I gave up and I never went back to it. Right? I love the music in that game.
Yeah, I like the music in that game.
There's something about the synthesizers there that I love. It just sounds so great. Better than the original Zelda game, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion.
I think I would agree with that. I think I prefer Zelda 3's music more than 2, but I prefer 2.
3 as in Link's Awakening?
No. Sorry, would that be the third one? The one on Super Nintendo.
Link to the Past. Oh, awesome music there as well. Anyway, and what was the first RPG you played that really got you into the genre, that told you, hey, Zoltan, thanks for joining our club of RPG addicts. Welcome to the club. Man. The one that really got you into the genre.
Yeah. Man, you'd think it would have happened when I played Final Fantasy VI or Chrono Trigger. Yeah. I played both of those. Not that they were great, but I wasn't like telling myself, man, these are what RPGs are. I got to play more RPGs. The game that did that to me was actually Xenogears. When I first entered college, I played it.
Oh, that's awesome. And last but not least, what's your favorite RPG of all time?
Oh, man, it changes a lot. But I think right now my favorite one of all time is Valkyrie Profile 2.
Yeah! Awesome.
You like that game.
I love that game to pieces. I mean, I love the original as well, but the second one was just so unique, I can't compare that game's mechanics to anything.
The mechanics are insane, right? All that breaking off of the parts and the way you put your armor to learn abilities and stuff. I really love that.
The skill tree and also how you just gotta move around the battlefield and the enemies move at the same time, and you gotta dash and position yourself and attack the enemies from different positions. I just love that. I don't know what other game is like that, plays like that.
There's none. In fact, they did such a good job improving the battle system from Valkyrie Profile 1 to 2. I don't know what they should do if they ever make Valkyrie Profile 3 Wrist, right?
Well, it's Square Enix. Tri-Ace is gone. I don't want to know. I really don't want a Valkyrie Profile 3 unless it comes from Tri-Ace. So is it Tri-Ace or Tri-Ace?
No, it is Tri-Ace because it's supposed to be, it's just the number 3 is actually what it means, even though it's a Japanese company. They actually mean the English tri, as in 3. It was named after the three founding members are the 3 aces.
Yeah, Yoshiharu Gotanda and the other 2
he's
guys.
In there.
I think one of them was Motoi Sakuraba. No, that was just a composer.
No, he wasn't one of the aces.
Yeah, he's been there. He's been composing music for almost everything they do. Even Exist Archive has music from Motoi Sakuraba.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, guys, and speaking about that, today's top 5 between the Legendary Zoltan and myself is gonna be the best JRPG composers of all time.
Yes.
And obviously we made a list of our favorites, and we'll see if we coincided with some of them, and we'll try to reach a consensus, a definitive list for that JRPG show. And this is the board. It's like a tier list board with number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I'm just gonna show mine right now. Here we are. Okay, so my number 5, for my number 5, I chose Shoji Meguro. He's the guy who composed the themes for Persona series and the Shin Megami Tensei series. Awesome composer, a very, versatile. I love how he can just do whatever, any type of music. And my number 4 is actually Motoi Sakuraba, because I'm such a big Valkyrie Profile fan, Star Ocean fan, Tales of fan. This guy is huge, and you guys know that. Number 3, I put probably the most famous composer of all time, the legendary Nobuo Uematsu, composer of the Final Fantasy games. And number 2, I have a name you probably don't recognize, people. This is Hayato Sonoda. Never heard of him?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, well, you probably heard the East music or the Trails music, the Falcom music. Pretty much everything Falcom, he composed it from 1998 and forward. Before that, it used to be different composers, like they even got at one point Yuzo Koshiro, which I'm a big fan too of as well. Hayato Sonoda is like the leader of the famous Falcom Teen sound. So he composed. I love East. I love the Trail series. I'm such a metalhead like you. And I just love this guy. And my number 1, my favorite composer is Yasunori Mitsura. Hands down, needs no introduction. So here are Legendary Zoltans Picks. Can you read them out for us? Or shall I read them for
Okay,
you?
my number 5, I put Yasunori Mitsuda. The one that got me into him would be Xenogears. And I want to say Chrono Trigger as well, but a lot of people say that a lot of the popular songs in that game were actually done by Nobuo Uematsu, so I'm not sure, actually.
Yeah.
Number 4, I put Yuki Kajiura. I think she's only done like one game, and that was Xenosaga 3.
Xenosaga 2 and 3, yeah.
Oh, did she do some 2 as well? Yeah. But for me, it was all about Xenosaga 3. I love her soundtrack for that.
Amazing soundtrack.
Number 3, I put Motoi Sakuraba, mostly for all those Tri-Ace games. And number 2, another person not so well known, Kohei Tanaka, known I guess best for Alundra, Resonance of Fate, and Black. He did something else too. I forgot what it was. And my number 1, I put Hitoshi Sakimoto, who did FF Tactics, FF12, Vagrant Story.
And he did also the Valkyria Chronicles games. All of them.
Valkyria
the music
Chronicles.
for all of them. That guy is such an underrated musician, man. Nobody knows him. Nobody knows him. When it comes to the big names, they all, Motoi Sakuraba is there, Mitsura is there, Uematsu, Yoko Shimomura. I actually considered Shimomura was my number 6. And Meguro, but nobody knows Sakimoto or Sonata. Such underrated. I mean, we love their music. We don't know who they are. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, now you know, guys. All right, so we both have two. We coincided with 2 names, Sakuraba and Mitsura. I think both of them should be up there in the definitive list. We'll decide the order later. Well, those 2 can be right there. I really want to make my case on Hayato Sonata, but I think Uematsu was my number 3, and well, he's just so legendary. He influenced a lot of the musicians we listen to. Some of these have actually recognized Uematsu as an influence. He's like the godfather of JRPG music, right?
He kind of is, yeah.
Yeah, I was a big fan when I was in my late 20s. Nowadays, I listen more to Sonata or even Mitsura or Sakuraba, Meguro, other ones. But Uematsu is such an important, like a very historical figure, man. That's my case on Uematsu. If you don't want Uematsu on the definitive list, that's okay. But I think he should be there at the very least at number 5 because of the historical importance because there won't be any Final Fantasy music without this guy. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I also listened to a lot of Uematsu back in the day, and my favorite soundtracks for him were FF6 and 7. And I liked 8 as well. I mean, and his legendary status is basically untouchable.
Well, no love for Final Fantasy 9?
I liked FF9 as well. I did.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, we can decide the order later. I
want to make.
Okay,
I'm willing to. From my list, I'm willing to let go of Yuki Kajiura because I know that she's hardly done any games. Like, I think those are like the only games she's done. I just really love how she did Xenosaga 3, and she used her band. She has a band called Fiction Junction, which has a lot of female vocalists, like 5 female vocalists. And she used that it's a rock band, and she used that band to do some of the songs, like the song that plays when you battle a certain character that maybe I shouldn't spoil. So, and like that's one of my all-time favorite songs of any genre ever. Yeah. So that's why I wanted to put her. But I realized she's not that prolific in the realm of game soundtracks. So I'm willing to let her slip off the definitive.
Okay, one guy from your list, I think Sakimoto needs to be there. He's so underrated. People need to know more. I mean, they only know him probably for Final Fantasy Tactics or Final Fantasy 12, but he also did the music for all the Tactics the Ogre games and the Valkyria Chronicles. He's done a heck of a lot of music for JRPGs, and people don't know about him. I think he should. He also
did Dragon. What is it? Breath of Fire 5, Dragon Quarter. Yeah. That game. And he also does the Vanillaware games too, Dragon's Crown and stuff.
Odin's Sphere, Dragon's Crown. It's all about this guy. He needs to be there. He needs to be there.
So he's got to be there.
Yeah, I'm willing to let go of Meguro. I am a Persona fan, and I'm a big Shin Megami Tensei fan. But I gotta admit, out of the entire series, I prefer Ryota Kosuka. but he's only done Shin Megami Tensei 4 and Apocalypse. I really love those soundtracks, but I left Kosuka out because of the same reasons you're gonna leave Yuki out, because he's barely done anything. Meguro is such a big guy, comes from the late 80s, composing music, and I love the guy, but I gotta admit, I'm not the biggest, Persona music fan. Maybe I like, 2 or 3 themes out of each Persona game, maybe 5, and every Shin Megami Tensei is the same. I only like 5 songs, right? So I love this guy, but I'm willing to let Meguro go, even though he's just as important as Uematsu. But I don't know.
Yeah, he is important, yeah.
Yeah, he's important, but we can leave Meguro out.
As we're both a couple of metalheads, I mean, it makes sense that we're both, I also can listen to, I played Persona 3 is the one that I played.
Yeah.
And I also played Nocturne. I played those 2. Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can recognize what makes those soundtracks good, and I actually did really enjoy the school music in Persona 3 and all that.
I love it too. It's so bad, it's good.
I didn't think it was bad, but yeah, it's just not really my type. That kind of jazzy hip hop sound is just not really my type.
Same here, but I love it nonetheless. Yeah. Persona is the one series that can get away with that type of music for my personal tastes. Anyway, so I'm gonna put up a fight with Sonata because he made the E's, all the E's, not all of them, but most of them from E6 and onward. All of those kick-ass metal songs, metal themes, and the Trail series as well. But you can make your case on Mr. Tanaka, which who I also believe is very underrated.
Yeah, Kohei Tanaka is he's done more than Yuki Kajiura, but he hasn't done that much. So yeah, I'm thinking off the top of my head now. He did Resonance of Fate alongside Motoi Sakuraba. He did all the orchestra music, I assume, because all the dungeon music sounds like Motoi music.
Okay, I got him here on Wikipedia. He's done the music for Paladin's Quest on the Super Nintendo.
That's right.
He did the music for the original Sakura Wars, not the one on the Wii or PS2 that I've covered a gazillion times here. The original that never came out of Japan, Alondra, Resonance of Fate with Sakuraba, Gravity Rush 1 and 2, not RPGs, but they're great soundtracks. And then the new Sakura Wars, who just came out last year, he was also the guy there.
That's cool, yeah. So I haven't played Sakura Wars or listened to the to the soundtracks. I expect that they're going to be high quality works though, but the guy really, really blew me away with Alundra. And and one of the things that I always think about is how the first dungeon theme that he made, the first dungeon theme in the game and the last dungeon theme in the game are my 2 favorite themes in the game, and I really like how it starts super strong and end even stronger. And a lot of final dungeons in games, some of them have great songs, some of them have okay songs, and it's my opinion that the final dungeon should be one of the greatest songs in the game.
Exactly.
And he really nailed it, in my opinion.
Agree. Yeah, I've seen some other RPGs with great final dungeons themes, like the one in Blue Dragon.
Oh yeah.
By Nobuo Uematsu. Oh my god, he totally... The entire game most of the soundtrack of Blue Dragon was okay. Some songs really do stand out, like the boss battle theme with the guy from Deep Purple. But, he sings the song. And,
that's crazy.
Yeah, and Uematsu also did the final dungeon theme of Blue Dragon, which is freaking amazing. Anyway, so, okay, on to the final list.
In the end, though, Kohei Tanaka hasn't done that many games.
Okay, so you want to let it go?
And Alundra's not an RPG. I guess we should let it go.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I do consider the game as an RPG, but yeah, it's one of those games, we can't really tell. Like Zelda, for example. Like sometimes, it's an RPG, but sometimes... All right, so we both got Mitsura and Sakuraba. They both should be there. Mitsura is my number 1, but yours is number 5. But Sakuraba is number 3 for you and number 4 for me. So I would really love to see Mitsura in the first place, but it seems like we both have preference for Sakuraba. Sakuraba should be number 1, maybe. Or do you really want to put Sakimoto in there?
Well, deciding between Mitsura and Sakuraba, the difference between them, I think they both give their all and all that, but admittedly, I kind of think of Sakuraba as kind of like Johann Sebastian Bach in the way that there's that one song that Johann Sebastian Bach did, the da-na-na, da-na-na-na-na. He did that Toccata in Fugue song, is like unbelievably famous, but the dude's written like thousands of songs and nobody knows any of the others. And I view Sakuraba the same way. He writes like, he's probably literally coming up on the 10,000th song pretty soon, right? Like he's done so many 60 to 80 song games. Just like every year he does like 2 or 3 full RPG soundtracks.
Yeah.
But then like only some of the songs jump out, or only some games. Like I do not like the Tales of Vesperia's soundtrack, to be honest.
It's okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Like all of his Tales soundtracks are kind of vanilla, I would say.
Yeah,
but
I agree. As a matter of fact, I agree. Each and every single one of them has like 2 or 3 songs that are freaking amazing, and the rest of the soundtrack is classic JRPG traditional music. They're okay.
Yeah.
He really stands out, in my opinion, in Star Ocean in Valkyrie Profile. That's
Same here.
Oh my god, what amazing soundtracks. So
we're of the same opinion with him.
What were you gonna say about Mitsura?
So in the case of Mitsura, though, he's got Chrono Cross, amazing soundtrack. Xenogears, amazing soundtrack. He's also on Xenoblade, isn't he?
Xenoblade Chronicles. He also did Valkyria Revolution, amazing soundtrack there. People can say whatever they want about the game. The music is untouchable in that game.
And he also did Shadow Hearts, some songs on Shadow Hearts 2, I believe.
Songs of Shadow Hearts, as a matter of fact. Yeah, some songs only. And several other really obscure games like Deep Labyrinth, or I think he did music on Sands of Destruction, Nobody really cares about those games. The big ones are the Chrono series. He's very well known for the Chrono series and Xenogears and the first Xenosaga as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. And the first Xenosaga, which he got the full orchestra for. That was pretty impressive.
So, you're trying to say which one is better for you, Sakuraba or Mitsura? Sakuraba, right? Did you put it number 3?
I guess I prefer Sakuraba's style more, right?
But
just going off my opinion.
You don't feel comfortable with Sakuraba on the first place of the definitive list.
Not the first place. Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. Those are the only ones that we both chose. So one of them has to be number 1 and one has to be number 2.
Well, we can put Uematsu there because we both like him and because he's very historically important and he influenced the heck out of everybody else here in this list.
I would say Hitoshi Sakimoto is roughly equally important, though.
Yeah, he is.
And I prefer him because he's kind of the, he writes all those battle songs for Tactics and Valkyria Chronicles, and I kind of feel like he's the heavy metal orchestra guy. Like all those, they're all orchestra music, but like they would make great metal songs, in my opinion.
But Sakimoto over Mitsura. You got me.
It's a hard sell, right?
It's a hard.
Okay, let's go ahead and accept. We can accept Mitsura as number 1, I think.
Are you sure? He was your number 1.
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, I love Xenogears and Chrono Cross and Chrono Trigger soundtracks, so.
Okay. Okay, then I'll give you Sakimoto in number 2. How does that sound?
Okay, yeah, let's do Sakimoto number 2.
All right.
Then Motu is number 3.
We're gonna put Mitsura in number 1.
Yeah.
And Mr. Sakimoto in number 2. And Sakuraba number 3, you were saying?
Right, because he was on both our lists, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay.
So that leaves 2 slots for Uematsu. Oh, no, I guess that leaves the last 2 slots is just Nobu Uematsu and Hayato. Is it Sonoda?
Hayato Sonoda. Yeah, from the East
Sonoda,
games.
okay.
All right, so Nobu has to be there. Sonoda is...
I'm going to have to leave this one up to you because I haven't played any of the later Ys games. I only played Ys 1 and 3, which I liked.
Different musicians, but which versions did you play?
I played...
the original Master System, MSX, TurboGrafx.
That's right, yeah. I think I played the original Master System version of Ys 1, and I played the SNES version of Ys 3.
All right. They're great soundtracks, but the rearrangements Yuzo Koshiro did for the PSP versions are mind-blowing.
Oh, yeah?
So nowadays I do like Sonata more, but out of respect, Uematsu needs to be number 4 in my opinion because of the historical influence. And I guess we can put Sonata in number 5. All right, so that's it. That's our definitive list. Number 5, Mr. Hayato Sonata, criminally underrated. Number 2, the legendary Nobuo Uematsu. Number 3, Motoi Sakuraba. Number 2, the legendary Hitoshi Sakimoto. Not that legendary, but he should fucking be. And number 1, the almighty best musician, in my opinion, for JRPGs, Yasunori Mitsura. That's our top 5. If you guys think you can come up with a better top 5, or do you have your own saying in this, let me know in the comment section below. Share your own top 5, share your opinion, and share whatever the hell you want to about this top 5. This is it. That JRPG Show's top 5 on the best JRPG composers.
That's a pretty solid top 5 in my opinion.
All right, so that's over. Zoltan, what have you been playing lately, man?
Well, because I have kids, I play a lot of different games simultaneously. There's like the games I want to play all by myself to completion, but then my kid's like, Papa, play Dragon Quest 11.
Wow, like, okay. They ask you to do that? How old are they?
2 and 7.
So
anyway, I'll just go through the list real quickly. So I played a little bit of FF7 Remake lately. Finally beat the Hell House boss on hard mode. God damn, that was hard for me. I died like 14 times, literally 14 or so times.
You're a grinder, right? I mean, you play games.
I am a grinder, but the thing about hard mode and FF7 Remake is that you're already at max level when you begin it, so you can't grind anymore.
So that's not a hard mode. That's like an easy mode.
But like have you played hard mode yet?
No, I don't have the game. I only played the demo a long time ago.
Okay, yeah. No, they add a whole new aspect of gameplay in hard mode. You cannot use items ever at all in the whole game, even outside of battle. And sleeping at inns and stuff doesn't heal your MP. So MP management becomes a massive, massive problem for me.
But you beat the game.
I beat it on normal, and now I'm finally past this place I was stuck on hard mode, so yay.
Right.
I've been playing some Rogue Galaxy. That's the PS2 game, but I've been playing it on the PS4 release of it.
Yeah.
I'm just grinding like crazy. There's like that battle recorder thing in it where it just shows like the whole list of every enemy in the game, and it's like, just kill 30 of these guys, kill 20 of these guys, kill 30 of these guys. And if you're actually going to do that, you're going to be there for probably, I'm assuming it's going to take maybe 200 hours total, maybe.
Damn. You're one of those guys.
Brutal.
You're one of those guys who put a lot of hours into games.
I am one of those guys, yeah.
Rogue Galaxy, I mean, would you agree it's a hard game? It doesn't have a difficulty mode. You can't choose the difficulty in that game.
Yeah, you can't. That's right. You said that it was hard in your video, and then you had to make another video saying that everybody was mad at you for saying it was hard.
Yeah.
Because, if you're gonna...
Like I said in the video, I do remember when I first played the game and beat it, and I was looking up at walkthroughs back then in 2010, I think I played it. And I do remember people were saying the forums were swarmed by people bitching about the difficulty. And nowadays, it's a walk in the park. What the fuck? So what do you think?
Because I'm a grinder, I don't really view it as that difficult. And the way the system is that you can put any 2 swords into the pot, and then you'll get a new, stronger sword.
Yeah.
So,
it's easy to break.
And it's got... I'm sorry?
It's easy to break.
It is easy to break, yeah. So if you're just going to go straight through forward, like just to the next area, to the next area, to the next area...
Yeah, it's hard.
It can be pretty hard, I imagine. But, if you have fun making lots of swords, then, yeah, you become kind of invincible. I'm just bummed out that they put the freaking maximum weapon level as level 48 and not 99.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Because I was the kind of guy who just went forward, and I did some grinding, but I never bothered with the freaking pot. And I should have done that. That was my biggest mistake.
Yeah, you got to do that, I think. Yeah.
But I did beat the game, and people bitched about the final battle all the time because it's like 7 battles in a row. Each character with there's only one character. Each character has to fight a boss, something like that, right? It's so hard, but I didn't view it as that hard. So I have contradictory points of view with people with the consensus.
The problem, I've had problems with that final boss because the thing is you get past like the first 7 or so parts, and then the last part, if you die to it, you got to play all the first parts again, and it's not really that fast moving of a battle, so it takes forever.
Yeah, depends on the character. I mean, the battle system is fast-paced. It appears that way, but it isn't. It's very technical, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I basically, if you grind a lot, it becomes a button masher, to be honest.
Oh, sure, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what else have you been playing? What else?
Yeah, I play a little Dragon Quest 9. My kid always wants to watch that, and they love Erick, and they love Sylvando.
Oh, Dragon Quest 11, you mean?
11, yes. Yeah. 11 is what I meant.
Yeah, that's a fantastic game.
I've been playing some Star Ocean 2. I just got the character Ashton in the beginning. I chose Rena as my character.
This isn't your first time playing the game, right?
No, I've played this game a million times already. It's got some crazy secrets, which I love to do. It's really... Star Ocean 2, I approached it the wrong way when I first played it because I had a guide back then. But this is really the exploration game I'm realizing now. You're just supposed to dive into all those item creation systems and explore things because there is so much optional stuff. Like, all of the characters are optionally recruitable. You don't have to get any of them, right?
Yep. As a matter of fact, that's true.
Yeah, so I've been having fun with that. And lastly, I've been playing Eternal Sonata, another good game for grinding.
Yeah. Oh, the PS3 version.
Yeah, I play the PS3 version. Yeah, that one's harder than the first one that came out on Xbox. Man, that game has a really feel-good grind because unlike most games, that game, your speed also increases, not your movement speed, but the amount of turns that you're going to get. That speed stat actually increases. Most games don't increase the speed stat when you level up. So I really like that. And that's one of my favorite tri-ace. I mean, that's actually tri-crescendo, but tri-crescendo battle systems where it's a really good mesh of action and turn-based.
Yes.
Better than FF7's mesh of turn-based and action, I would say. I mean, FF7 remake, yeah.
Yeah, the remake, yeah. Music by Motoi Sakuraba, actually.
That's right. That's also one of my favorite soundtracks by him. And I think Eternal Sonata must have the best PS3 graphics. At least it's my favorite ones. Like, you walk into a house and there's so many little trinkets and bookshelves and little things to look at. And it's really beautifully crafted.
Yeah, it's an amazing game. I'm a die-hard fan of that game as well. Always, you never miss an opportunity to recommend that game. Very good, and it's very cheap. I mean, it's a game that you can find for like less than $20, either version, PS3 or 360 for now. So, wow, it's a masterpiece. You guys can't miss out on that game. Anyway,
now's the time to get it.
For me, I'm usually the kind of guy who focuses on just one RPG until I finish that RPG, or until I rage quit, or until I just do whatever, So, as you guys know, and I've said it in the previous show, I beat this game a week ago, Crystar. Amazing game, totally recommend it. It is an acquired taste. It's not going to be for everybody, I know that. But it's a very good game if you like gothic art style and obscure dramas. It is a little bit cringy at the beginning, like the little girls, It's kind of dumb, but then it goes on, it gets more dark, and it gets more deep, and wow, yeah, at the end you're like, the fuck, man. It's a great game. And right after finishing this game, I went back to a very obscure game. I don't know if you've heard of this series. It's big in Japan. You live there. But outside of Japan, it's like very obscure. It's called Super Robot Tyson.
I know of it.
Yeah. So there's only like 3 or 4 games that made it outside of Japan. And 2 of them were in the Game Boy Advance. They're called Super Robot Tyson Original Saga Generation, something like that. So I started playing the first one a long time ago, and I ditched it and I moved on to other games. So recently I went back to it, and I'm dead set on finishing that game. And right after that game, I'm probably going to move to the sequel, the second one, which we also did get in North America on the Game Boy Advance. I do recommend these games. They're very good, but even the cartridges are very hard to find, the North American releases. So be on the lookout, if you can emulate them like I'm doing right now.
what is the battle system like? I know that it's got all of those famous robots from famous anime like Gundam and Evangelion and stuff in there. And I know that there's a lot of animation of like their special attacks and stuff, but what is it just like a regular turn-based Dragon Quest kind of thing where you just choose attack or magic or items, or what is it like?
No, it's more like it's a grid-based tactical RPG, but it's more like in the vein of the old Fire Emblem games or the Shining Force games.
Huh.
The visual style is more like Crystal Warriors and Shining Force, like top-down view, and you can just see just everything. And the ships you fight in these mechs and ships, they're very small in the map, but it's very good. I mean, you play this game, it's not a budget title, but it does feel sometimes like a budget title because there's the story, the narration of the game, the structure of the game is just one scene, one mission, one scene, one mission, and so on, and it's very, it can be very repetitive, but their missions are very fun. And well, let me give you just a warning. It's a bit on the easy side. I mean, that works wonders for me. It's not that hard. It's not hard at all, as a matter of fact. But I'm halfway through the game. Maybe it will get harder near the end. I've done a couple of missions which were kind of hard, in my opinion, kind of unfair. But like 90% of the game, it's a walk in the park, in my opinion. That's just me. Anyway, Zoltan, Japan.
Yes.
You live in Japan. You are a Japanese citizen, man.
That's right. Permanent.
So you've been living there for 15 years?
15, yes.
15 years, man. God. So what's your story? I mean, why did you move there? What happened? What's your story? Why are you in Japan?
I lived in Hawaii since age 13, and I went to high school in Hawaii. And in high school, I just when I started high school, it was a new high school. I went from another high school to that high school. And when I was there, is like lunchtime came up and like, okay, what am I going to do now? I'll just wait in this classroom because I didn't have any friends yet, right? So that's why I was like, what am I going to do now? And I'm just waiting in the room. And a whole bunch of Japanese people walked into the room. And I mean, you know, they're Americans, but they have the Japanese blood. So in Japan, that's called Nikkeijin. So Japanese Americans, right? And I became friends with them, and they introduced me to the world of anime and JRPGs.
Yeah.
and I became interested in it. And over time, I was just like, yeah, I like games. I like anime. And Japanese girls are cute. I want to go to Japan. And so when I finished college, I was like, okay, how am I going to go to Japan? And it blows my mind that I was just willing to do this. I just decided, well, the way to get to Japan is to be an English teacher. So I'll just be an English teacher. And that's what I did. And now I'm here. I came here at the age of 25, and now I'm 40. And bought a house, got a wife, have 2 kids. Gonna be here till I'm dead.
So you got your visa, your working visa, I take it, instead of marrying. I thought you went there and married the girl the easy way. It's not that easy.
No. So I got I got a 1-year visa at first, and then I had to renew it every year while I was working. But then, eventually I got married, and after getting married, then it wasn't that hard to get citizenship.
Yeah, sure.
And then that's what happened.
Wow. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to ask, I mean, this was something you did 15 years ago. Times have changed. But would you recommend to people to move to Japan? And if so, is it hard? Is it really that hard? Harder than, I don't know. Where were you born?
I was born in America, in Arizona.
Oh, because for certain people like Mexicans, for example, nowadays, it used to be easy 20 years ago, but nowadays it's really hard to get a citizenship or any type of visa in North America, I mean, in the US or even in Canada. In the UK, it's even harder. So how hard it is to move to Japan legally?
So I was here. Well, I think that right now now that 15 years have passed, I don't think it's any more difficult than when I came here 15 years ago, because one of the major problems of Japan is still happening, and that is that people aren't having that many kids. The population is actually slowly becoming less and less. And so I guess they want more people to come here so we don't run out of people, workers and stuff. So I don't think it's going to be that hard, but what you have to do, if you're not married, I don't know how easy it is, but if you're married to somebody, a Japanese person, you just have to fill out a bunch of paperwork, and then you have to write a report. I don't remember, like maybe 5 pages or something, 3 pages or 5 pages of why you want to become a Japanese citizen. You have to write that in Japanese. And also, depending on where you're from, you have to have the permission of your parents, even though you're an adult. So in my case, my father, even though he's American, he was born in Iran. And when they heard that, like, they were worried that like, is he gonna like call you back to Iran or something? So I need written consent from your father is what they asked from me.
Fucking believe it.
Yeah, so I got that. I wrote the report, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, it's fine. We just want to make sure you have, not ill intentions for being here, and that you can speak some level of Japanese." And I think they said that they want you to be able to be like elementary school 4th grade or something level of Japanese at least. So that's why.
But you gotta work, right? I mean, there's no way to get there with your own. I mean, I couldn't move there. I'm a YouTuber, so. Yeah, it's complicated.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work. If you're a YouTuber, can you, maybe you could have a vacation visa and then while you're here, you meet someone and get married. I don't know.
Yeah, that's exactly what I tried to do in Canada and it didn't work.
It didn't work? Okay.
Anyway, so what's life like in Japan? I mean, is it that different from the US? I mean, is it like what we see in the movies or in anime series, which I doubt? What's
to be honest, it kind of is like the anime.
Really?
Kind of. So, for example, I mean, obviously lots of things are different, but some things that I saw, it was like it was my destiny almost. The first anime I ever watched was Ranma 1/2, a very old anime.
Yeah.
One of the first ones to be translated into English. Mm-hmm. That's a high school drama anime. And get this, freaking the town I live in is the town where the woman who made that anime lived. Or lives, maybe. Yeah. Awesome. Rumiko Takahashi. Yeah, Takahashi. My wife went to the same high school as her, and her signature is on my wife's high school wall, apparently. So that's pretty cool. And one of the scenes I remember is that every time during lunch, they go to this little bread shop that's at the high school. All the students go there. And in the anime, everybody just crowds around. It's like, yeah, give me that bread. I'm going to pay. Here you go. Blah, blah, blah. Like, there's no order. It's all chaos because they're high school students or whatever, and it's anime. But it's not that crazy, but that thing kind of exists where, like, there's that little tiny shop that somebody from outside comes in and sets up. It's called the Kobai. And then tons of kids, they don't eat a school lunch or whatever. They just go and buy bread from there. And there's no line or anything. They're all just standing around, waiting for them to get their turn at least. But so that was the same. I was surprised about that. Another thing that's the same is the way that people talk. Like, for example, in anime, people often go, "Hey." That's normal freaking speech in Japan, yo. Really? Even adults do it.
Wow. Like the classic, konnichiwa.
Yeah, of course, all those words and stuff.
With that tone, as if they were
totally
characters.
Totally. And they also, another thing that's fun that Japanese people do is they change their voice on the phone. So whatever their normal voice is, they're like, "Hey, konnichiwa," whatever. When they get on the phone, they intentionally make their voice higher and more friendly sounding because they know that the other person can't see them. Yeah. So they want the other person to not have any miscommunications that you might sound angry at them because you can't see them, right? So they're like, "Konnichiwa, hi, onegaishimasu." Like they change their voice, and then they put off the phone. They're like, "Oh, okay," they just talk normal again.
Really?
Yeah, they do that.
How different is the customs or the culture in there? Are people cleaner, more self-aware of the environment, of taking care of the city, the nature, things like that? Are they educated when they drive, or how's the people in there?
To a degree, I'd say they are more concerned with the environment. All kids in elementary school, they have some lessons in their school about not being wasteful. That's a thing. And there's a specific lesson, and then even outside of the lesson, just teachers constantly like, you got to eat all the food. your lunch when the kids are eating lunch. There's a teacher right there saying you're going to eat all the food, and sometimes they don't, but they pressure them to eat all the food because it's wasteful and because you got to grow up big and strong. So there's that. Also, there's always somebody who will clean up the outside area, even if it's not their job. So, for example, if somebody drops a piece of food outside of a supermarket, but like, you know, in front of the supermarket is a big ass parking lot, and then there's the sidewalk. Even if it's way over there on the sidewalk, nowhere near the store, like they want to make sure that there's no trash anywhere around the store. So somebody will go out and pick that up, and basically people who live in houses will do the same thing. If somebody drops something outside of their house, even if it's on the street, they'll go out and pick it up later eventually. So things are clean. Like, you know, I often walk to my job. I always walk to my job, and as I'm walking, I see some trash or something that somebody left on the ground. And the next day when I walk by there, it's gone every time. So that's nice. Yeah. And, you know, they have a custom out here to do an insane cleaning of your house every New Year's. It's like, it's an event. It's like, okay, we got to do the big cleaning, and where you just wipe every nook and cranny of your house. And so, yeah, they do care about cleanliness and the environment for sure. And yeah, go ahead.
What's the JRPG scene in Japan? I mean, there's nothing such of like, there's no J in the RPG scene there. They're just RPGs. But they call it like RPGs, something like that, right?
Yeah, right. They totally just call them RPGs or role-playing games. And yeah, they don't really. I mean, so I'm not really in any scene. Like, I don't watch that many Japanese YouTube videos or go on Nico Nico video website too much or whatever. But I'm an elementary school teacher, so I do know what games kids play. And admittedly, there aren't that many kids playing RPGs.
Really?
Yeah, not
kids,
little kids
like
anyway.
What age?
5th and 6th grade, so 11, 12 years old.
Oh, and they don't play RPGs.
Yeah, not many, right? So, like, you know, occasionally I'll meet the kid who has a father who played a bunch of RPGs, and they have a freaking Super Nintendo in their house. So they're telling me about, you know, they played freaking Final Fantasy VI on there. You know, but that's the rare case. The more common case is that a lot of American and foreign-made games are becoming more and more popular here in Japan. Like, you all know, you know how big Minecraft was and basically still is, but like, it's as big as ever still. So
it's taken over Japan.
Right, it took over Japan.
What about Call of Duty? Kids playing Call of Duty?
Not too many kids playing Call of Duty, but like freaking every kid plays Fortnite, yo.
Jesus.
I know, right? Jesus, right? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but an interesting thing about, you could say, if you can call it the scene, I suppose, an interesting thing is that even kids who don't play games, every kid knows what Dragon Quest is. And one of the reasons they know that is not because they have somebody in their house that played it or something. You know, in music classes in elementary school, they teach any song that was ever popular. So that freaking Dragon Quest opening march, like nearly every kid plays that at some point in their elementary school life. At one school that I worked at, they did a Final Fantasy IV song on this little melodian thing. I believe is what the English name of it. It's like a keyboard with a little blow piece in it.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so there's that. I did take some notes about things that I could just mention about the scene, if you want to call it that.
All right, shoot.
Yeah, everybody knows what Dragon Quest is. A good number of people know what FF is, even if they haven't played it. And most of them haven't played it, actually. I was out here when FF13 came out, and I was actually working at high school at that time. But only like 2 kids were like interested in playing that, looking forward to it. So it wasn't as big a hype as I thought it was going to be. And one interesting thing is they do not have the price standard. Like in America, it's $60 for games, right? Oh. So when FF13 came out, it was what would be considered $100 in America. It was 10,000 yen. So yeah, you're making an unhappy face there.
It's an expensive country, Japan.
Yeah, things are more expensive. CDs are like all like if you want to put it into dollars, it'd be like $30 and up, not like $17. A lot of games that were rare out in the West are not rare out here, which I guess is to be expected.
Yeah, sure.
So the first time I played Alundra is because I found it out here and I played it in Japanese, which was really difficult. But that game was like sitting in a used game store for $5, yo. Imagine picking up Alundra for $5, right?
No way. Not even the disc.
Not even the disc alone, right?
No.
Yeah. One way that you can tell what games were popular out here is how quickly lots of used copies will turn up at a used game store. One very popular used game store is Book Off, where they sell used books and used games. And I remember when FF13 came out, lots of FF13 copies were there very quickly. So I guess it wasn't that popular.
Not even in Japan.
Not even in Japan.
You see what I say, guys, all the time. Fuck that game. Anyway, what else?
And that's it, actually. Yeah, that's all I got for the scene. Yeah,
Right.
I unfortunately don't have a lot of JRPG friends out here, I guess you could say, because I got wife and kids and full-time job, so pretty busy, right?
But you do have friends in there, do you? Well, the pandemic.
Maybe
I know,
not.
it's okay. So barely. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't spend time with anyone, just right. So by that standard, then I don't have any friends.
Anyway, I saved this question for last, cause god damn it, man, I gotta ask you.
Okay.
What's up with sexualizing little girls in anime and video games? What's up with that, man? You've been living there for 15 years. Do you know something about that? Do you understand why? What the hell?
I don't understand it to the degree that we would like, that I could tell you guys exactly the reason. But I don't know. Like, I did, One Piece, the anime is really popular out here, and there's this one girl with like really big boobs or whatever and sexy outfit. I don't remember who. But and so, one kid at the school, and this is elementary school, right, had like a file with that picture on it. And so I asked the teacher, like, it's not like against any like school policy for kids to have this kind of picture in school. And they're like, no. And I'm like, but what about like the sexiness aspect? And they're like, well, we just, her character is the sexy character, and we just accept that. And I thought that was interesting. Okay. And now I don't know if that character is underage, but yeah, the question, why do they make characters who look like little girls be sexy? I'm not sure, but if I had to take a guess, I mean, why they look like little girls, I don't know. Of course, that's all in the eye of the beholder, what age they really look like. But yeah, if I had to take a guess, it's probably that Japanese school time, specifically high school time, I would say, is probably the most fun, most exciting time in Japanese people's life, because Japanese people, they all learn what it means. There's a whole freaking lesson that they're going to take about what it means to work in society. And so they all learn that, and they all learn that they need to just kind of do everything they can for the job. And, from my point of view, that's basically, people are just accepting that they need to kind of give up their soul for their job, kind of a thing. But I think that Japanese people, they look back on when they were in high school as the greatest time of their life. And maybe that's why there's so many high school drama animes and sexy young people animes and stuff. That's just an idea, though, that I've had. I don't know that that's the reason. I should look into it, huh?
Well, does your wife watch anime series or read manga or play video games?
Not anything like with those kind of sexualized characters, right? Like, I remember talking to my wife when I was playing Dragon's Crown in front of her, and I played the sorceress with the big breasts, right? Yeah. And, I told my wife, in America, it was a huge deal that this lady was so sexualized and so busty. Yeah. And my wife was like, really? Wouldn't it be more boring if they just had normal body types? And I was like, thank you for giving me that answer.
Well, she has a point.
Right? It's just because it's fantasy, right? So, so there's that, yeah. So, I mean, of course, occasionally crimes happen against real-life children, and, the police are pretty efficient at finding the criminals and getting them to plead guilty. Occasionally, they do accidentally make somebody who wasn't guilty plead guilty, but in general, the Tokyo police and stuff are considered really efficient. So yeah, they don't accept anything like that. But when it comes to anime and manga, they're basically like anything goes. It's just art.
And art is subjective.
It is.
Well, I think the ideal thing to do will be to just directly ask any JRPG artist or developers or producers, like, to ask them directly why. I mean, I get if you want to sexualize your girls, your 15, 16-year-old girls, even if they're underage. They're not really underage in Japan, are they? What's the
15,
age of
16?
What's the age of consent in Japan? 14?
I forgot. I think it's 16 or 18. It's in between there. The age that you're actually just considered an adult is 20, though.
Yeah, we know that, but wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So they're doing something that in North American eyes is illegal. Just underage girls being sexualized. But it's okay. I mean, we all went to high school. We all, kept an eye on certain female classmates when we were like fucking 14. But what I don't understand is why the little ones, the girls that look like freaking 8 years old in the anime, like, why?
Yeah.
What's up with
like,
that?
Yeah, like freaking that Mugen Souls game and stuff, those kind of games.
Well, Mugen Souls is more like chibi characters. I think the characters are like 14 or 15 or whatever, but they're chibi, very small. I'm talking about girls like, I don't know, Criminal Girls, for example. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like there's a few characters that are, they look and they're recognized in the game. They give you clues that they're actually very, 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 very young, and they still sexualize them. So I was like, I've always tried to understand that part of their culture. I know it's entertainment. I know it's art. We are not supposed to take it seriously, but then why do it? Why? I mean, I'm a writer, and when I create characters, I kind of feel a connection with them. So when you're creating a character, even as an artist or as a developer or programmer, you gotta understand what you're doing, right? I mean, you are being conscious. You need to be conscious of what you're doing. You're putting a girl. Yes, it's a cartoon, all right.
Yeah.
A cartoon based on a very young girl, and you're sexualizing her. So I think that's objectively wrong, but I'm not Japanese, so that's what I was trying to understand. And in these 15 years, you haven't understood it either.
Yeah, not really. I never looked into it, and yeah, you're right. The best way to know would just to be ask them, like, what is it about this? I know, if I were a visual artist who drew art, I would definitely be interested in drawing sexy women. And in my case, what I think about is that, well, I want the women to appeal to me, so I would draw them, this age, and in my case, they would be adults. So I don't know the reason, but
yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I don't have an answer for you, unfortunately.
No problem. Nobody has. I think even if I asked a Japanese developer, they wouldn't be able to tell me anyway. Why am I doing this? I don't know. Because I can.
The person that I would want to ask, because she was a Japanese developer. She never did this or anything, but she's a Japanese developer and she knows about English and English culture and speaks English herself. Would be Soraya Saga. I would like to ask her, why do you think they do this? Because I'm sure she can kind of see from the Western point of view as well.
Sure. For those who don't know, Soraya Saga, that's the wife of Tetsuya Takahashi, and wrote the script for Xenogears with him. Yeah, that's Soraya right. Saga, that's okay. Anyway, one
last couple
question.
in JRPG history.
One last question. Is the idol scene really that big in Japan? Or is it only in the video game anime market?
It's big, yo. It's big, yo. Not only female idols, of course, male idols as well. And now, K-pop idols, that is Korean pop music idols, usually male. Oh, no, women ones as well, yeah, are very big. But no, idols are a big deal. There's a pretty famous group called AKB48, which stands for Akihabara 48, and it literally has 48 members. And the person who created that band they didn't just get together themselves. It's always a producer who makes these kind of idol groups.
Yeah.
The person who made that band made a whole bunch of other bands that are named after areas. So, for example, I live in Niigata, and there's a NGT 46 or 48 group. And so that's like 46 or 48, girls from Niigata that are now idols. And, everybody in Niigata knows who they are at the very least, right?
So it's a fucking plague in Japan. And they're trying to plague the rest of the world with their video games. All right. So that's all, man. That's all. Thank you very much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. I hope more people can finally know who is the guy who composed that song. And I hope people learn a few things about living life in Japan. I've seen you roaming around in the comment section of some of my videos, so if you want to take a shot at, there's going to be probably a million questions there in the comments after the video is over. And well, you're probably going to be asleep when the premiere runs out, so if you want to just take a shot at the questions there, if you guys want to ask something to Zoltan about life in Japan or about his music or anything else, he can probably be there in the comment section. Thank you very much for joining, man. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Glad to have you here.
Yeah, thank you. I was glad to be the first guest. Thank you very much.
Oh, you had to be. I mean, you are one of the very few collaborators I've had in my channel. I mean, you collaborate with one song, but that song is like really important nowadays. And please, people, subscribe to Zoltan's channel. It's a very interesting channel. It's a funny channel, not to be taken that seriously.
Memories.
He does have some serious videos. And those pronunciation videos are really helpful, like how to pronounce the characters' names from Final Fantasy VI. That was a really cool video. Anyway, all of his social media in the description below. So that's all for tonight and today, or whatever, people, from wherever you're watching. This was the Legendary Zoltan, and this was your host, Erick Landon RPG. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.